Hello, I'm Dr. Brandt Gibson, and today I want to talk to you about shoes. The truth is, there's a couple different things that we look at that you want to understand when it comes to shoes. One is you want to understand wear patterns. Is your shoe wearing on the outside? Is your shoe wearing on the inside? Maybe you'll notice that it's wearing on the outside of the heel and the inside of the toe, or maybe seems to be the whole bottom of the foot, or whatever. Those wear patterns, or if you have an area where you're having significant wear in one particular spot, all of those tell us a little bit more about how you walk and what kind of problems you could have or what kind of deformities may be going on. So that wear pattern is an important part of any evaluation by a doctor before they're giving you an orthotic or an insert. They're saying, okay, what do you do? Watching you walk, looking at your shoes are also another good idea. The other thing is I like to teach people a little bit about shoes, okay? So what you've got is you've got the outer sole, and then you have really an insole. And then the outer sole and the insole. The insole itself is what some people think is going to wear out, or the outer sole is what some people think are going to wear out. There's actually a area in between the insole and the outer sole called the midsole. That is the main area where the shoe wears out. And it's made of little pockets of air that compress over time. The reason that we have runners let a shoe recover over a 24-hour period is to let that area pop back up so you don't wear out the shoe as quickly. So that's an important distinction when you're saying, okay, is my shoe worn out or not? A shoe will wear out in a period of about 400 miles. If you're using the shoe constantly, it's usually 4 to 6 months is what that will give you. So that being said, there are also some things that you can do and determine if you have a good quality shoe or not. So when you take a shoe, you should be able to take it between your hands, and with mild pressure, it should bend at the toes. It should not bend to the middle, but it should bend right at the toes where your foot will bend. So you see how that's gonna bend right at the toes. So the other thing is it should be firm in the heel counter area. You should not be able to compress it. It should be relatively firm. If you could compress it, bring your fingers together, that's not a good quality shoe. And the other is you shouldn't be able to wring it out like a rag. If you can take this and wring it out, it's usually not as good a shoe. Example, if you take that, you can see that bends right in the middle of the shoe. It's not supposed to do that. If it does that, again, it's not gonna work right. It's supposed to. I have a couple of adult shoes, for example, and it's common in really little shoes, kids' shoes as well, where you push as hard as you want and it doesn't bend at all. It should bend relatively easy. But if it bends in the middle, we're worried about that. Or if you can compress it, we're worried about that. The idea is the shoe should not have either of those features to really function like it's supposed to. Now, why is that important? 3 things. You want the shoe to bend like your foot does. You want it to be firm here and firm to where you can't wring it out like a rag, because that holds your foot on the platform and you're not rolling off of it easily, and you're not creating other injuries or anything like that. So this is Dr. Brandt Gibson, and this is your Podiatry Tips Day 35. This was shoe fitting and shoe wear. So you actually can look at a shoe and decide what's the best type of shoe that you can have. Oh, the other part of shoe fitting is we usually want a little bit of space between the big toe or the longest toe, typically the big toe, sometimes it's the second toe, and the end of the shoe, so you're not rubbing on the end of the shoe too. So when they used to check our shoes, when we go to the store, and they usually check us and say, oh, that's a good fit, that's what they were looking for. Again, this is Dr. Brandt Gibson.